Assistant Secretary Schenker, you said Iraq is a beachhead. I think you were referring to Iraq as beachhead in confronting Iranian aggression. Is that right? November is the 6-month statutory deadline for extending the order of departures, and you've got to decide the future of U.S. government presence in Iraq. Are there plans to strengthen the security of the U.S. Embassy in Iraq to enable the return of U.S. personnel, or tell me where that stands?
Yeah, this has been something I spent a great deal of time on, actually. You know, safety and security of diplomatic personnel, and Iraq in particular. I don't want to get into the details of how we came to discussions. We think the security at the embassy is adequate, actually better than adequate.
Sufficient for the return of personnel. To enable U.S. personnel and the resumption of the vital work.
To accomplish the mission.
Yeah.
And we've got a number of diplomats that we think is appropriate. And I can brief you about this in another setting.
Okay.
But yeah, we are committed to the mission.
I would like to do that if we can arrange that. And then finally, also on the topic of Iran, this time in Syria, I think if I understood you, you said if we curtail our presence, it would be more difficult to prevent effectively the land bridge that was asked about earlier. Did I understand you correctly? And when you say if we curtail our presence the way we're doing, if we curtail our presence beyond what we're doing, what were you referring to?
Referring to basically beyond what we're doing. But as Ambassador Jeffrey said during, I believe during his testimony to you, our presence is a stabilizing force, and to the degree that we are present, it sets better conditions for the right things to happen in Syria.
So are you? So I'll ask. So are you confident that the current strategy effectively prevents Iran from establishing that land bridge that this committee in particular has worried so much about?
I think it complicates Iranian efforts to do so.
Does the administration assess U.S. efforts to prevent the spread of Iranian influence in Syria and Iraq and Lebanon as successful?
So I think it's a work in progress. In Iraq right now, a lot of the intracommunal violence that you're seeing is based on, our belief is, Iranian overreach because Iran is so enmeshed in the society. Many Shiite there, like everywhere throughout the region, are Shiite nationalists and are pushing back on this.
And so let me just wrap up again on this issue of the land bridge. So how many troops are in Tanif?
Not at liberty to say.
But the withdrawal of troops from northern Syria, the withdrawal of troops, I just want to make sure I understand.
There's still a residual U.S. presence that goes beyond a Tanif.
And you're confident that whatever that number is, that residual presence is sufficient to prevent Iran from establishing the land bridge from Tehran through Baghdad and Damascus over to Beirut?
I think it plays a positive role on that front.
Well, I'm sure some is better than none. I'm just asking whether it's a sufficient number to prevent Iran from establishing that.
I really can't comment.